What's up? What's up? What's up? We are live, baby. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Real Talk with Rajan. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know who I am. Y'all know what we do here. So we got about it is 6:59. I want to go ahead and start off. I'm good. Start off with just a little bit of news. So tonight's interview was supposed to be with Mr. G. Jordan, the gentleman who was arrested during the protest down in Marion Square in Charleston, South Carolina. Unfortunately, he had something pop up. Right now it's a lot of demands on his time, so he won't be able to make it tonight. But that's okay because I actually have Miss Latisha Imara, who's going to be with us tonight. She's actually the leader of the Charleston Black Lives Matter organization. So we'll be talking to her about, her experiences with protesting and just some things that she wants to get out there as well. So what I need you guys to do is go ahead and share this video out. Go ahead and share. Let the world know that Real Talk with Rajan is live, baby. And we about to have this conversation, if you know what I'm saying. All right. I'm going to go ahead. I'm sharing it on my page. Please share it on your page. Let your friends know. Thank you, everybody who's watching on YouTube. Thank you, everybody who's watching on Facebook. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. As we always say here, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm going to give it about another minute before we get started with the interview. Please share. Share. We are live. Oh, no, I don't want to mute that. I need that. Share. We are live. Please share. Let the world know that we are live. Share. We are live. Oh, no, I don't want to mute that. Now you hear me. Share. Uh-oh. We are live. Please share. Let the world. Well, see, that's what happens when you have your iPad connected to your sound system. So then when you press play, you hear you. So there's that. But yeah, share this out, man. About another 15 seconds we'll get started. About 15 seconds we'll get started. I'm trying to share myself, which I'm not doing a great job of. Please share. And we're going to get started with this interview with Miss Latisha Imara. Just give me 1 second. Sorry. We are live. I'm sharing this out. What's going on? I see Jaden. I see Brian. What's going on? Thank y'all for joining us. Please share this out. Let the world know we are live. I am live with Latisha Imara. Join us, and I will explain to you why. All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing rolling, man. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Let me share my screen. We're about to start this interview. Thank you guys so much for joining me, joining us. Share. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this as soon as my sounds come up. Hello, world, and welcome back to Real Talk with Rajan, where nothing's off limits. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. I am your host, Rajan Lewis. Now, here on Real Talk with Rajan, everything's debatable, so in any given week, we can be discussing anything from sports to music to politics. You name it, we'll discuss it. Yeah, man. As I said, I am your host, Rajan Lewis. As you guys know, this is Real Talk with Rajan, and we are back, baby. We are back. And I want to thank you guys so much for joining us again tonight. This is a very special interview for me tonight. I want to go ahead before we get started and make a brief announcement. For those who saw the invitations earlier, the advertisements earlier, tonight's interview was originally supposed to be with Mr. G. Jordan, who was the gentleman who was arrested while protesting at Marion Square. He was supposed to be one of my guests tonight, along with Miss Latisha Miss Latisha Imara. But unfortunately, the young man had, because of the, everything that's going on and with the arrest, he has to deal with certain things. So he was not able to make it tonight. I'm going to try to make that interview up, but I did not short you on an interview. I promised you an interview. Tonight we have an interview with the illustrious, the legendary Miss Latisha Imara.
I love that. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love the intro. So thank you. Thank you.
Hey,
I've been saying that a lot lately, and I want to thank everyone. First of all, I need to thank everyone for their support. I need
yeah.
to thank it all for all the calls, the prayers, just everything. I've gotten food. I've gotten. It's been a lot to process. But thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. Okay.
Word. Thank you so much. Thank you for starting on a thankful tip. That's weird. This is Thankful Thursday. I love that. I love that. So before we even get there though, because some people may be watching and saying, why is she thanking us? Let's go a little background and let people know, who you are, and let's establish who you are in this sphere. So please introduce yourself to the audience.
All right. Okay. So my name is Latisha Imara. Okay. Some of y'all know me by my legal name. Some of y'all know me by Black activism. But the point is that I'm a part of this community, and I have been a part of this community. Probably I grew up in Walterboro. That's all we got to say. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
the thing about it is that in 2015, 16, with Mohit and Baha, I started working with him with Black Lives Matter. Okay. That's what brought me here. Really is his example. Okay.
Mm,
And he
yeah.
left me the legacy of the Black Lives Matter page and the group. Okay. To be clear on that. So in caretaking for that and also processing the trauma of losing him in 2018, um, it was a lot of the process. But when this moment in history happened, when these deaths happen, when everyone is now angry and this tension that has built up, um, I attended uh, I attended a protest. I saw the pain. I saw the need. And like Moya used to say, when our people need something, we show up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it was. Okay. So I would like to introduce this what I'm doing as an evolution, not an exclusion of
Yeah.
the things I've already done. Okay.
Yeah.
And I also want to people to know that we have rebranded a little bit, not saying that we're exclusionary, but we've rebranded the name of what we're doing to embody what we're doing. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
we rebranded as the Black Liberation Fund. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and that is dedicated to bailing out Black people, women, LGBT people, whomever for peaceful protest in the service of Black liberation. Okay.
Okay.
So to be clear on that, that is Black Liberation Fund is what going forward is going to be used for the rest of this interview, and that's what I'm devoting my time to.
Okay.
Okay, now go ahead. Did you have a
All right.
question?
No, you're
Okay.
doing good. No, you're doing. I was
Mhm.
letting you
Okay.
think. I was just typing while I'm listening. Yeah. So the
Okay.
Black
All
Liberation
right.
Fund. Yes.
Yes, the Black Liberation Fund. So in saying that, I would like to say what initially happened is that I guess the night that Charleston's going to be remembering for a long time is that people were arrested and people were looking for, I guess, answers in that. And me and another sister who was, new here, but has been completely instrumental in helping me organize this. Let's be clear. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? She's helping me organize these things. And we saw the need for bail, bond, and care for people who were doing these movements. Okay.
All right.
And when I say care, it's like water and milk and all these things that we expected to happen, but we didn't yet know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, we just kind of saying people were reaching out to the Black Lives Matter page to be
Mm-hmm.
clear. How
Yeah.
can we help? Okay. So we've quickly formulated this solution. Okay. And this is what it is. Okay. So, and BLF is not organizing protests, to be clear. Okay. It is an aftercare and bail fund for Black folks or peaceful protesters who were arrested in the service for Black liberation. Okay.
Okay.
Um, there are several current independent groups who are currently organizing protests. All right. Our work is and will be from now on is to amplify their work.
All right.
I've told several groups that we've been working closely with this. I know you've seen several things on our page and different things like that. That is what you call amplifying the message that the community wants to give. People
Okay.
will ask me, okay, well, what should we do in X, Y, and Z? So I was like, okay, so if you're sure that you want to do that, if you want to take that role in that piece of service, several people have stepped up. I'm hearing that there's another iteration because Mohegan was always about rebirth. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So there's another Black Lives Leader person that stepped up, you know what I'm saying, into that. And we need to we're trying to figure out ways to amplify these things, okay?
Okay.
So our commitment is to Black lives and liberation. Okay. And as a part of that, and what we're finding out personally, because, I've also, had a mild health crisis, is that rest and preparation are essential parts of the liberation and the work period. You know what I'm saying? People's
Mm-hmm.
got to be cared for, but the people who are doing that caring for other people, if they are not rested and if they are not well, and if they're not thinking and organizing and preparing for what the consequences are in this work, people are going to be hurt behind that. And we're
Right.
trying to be very intentional with making connections with everything from lawyers, people who do self care, people who have religious connections. We're trying to connect folks to other folks who can, if we cannot provide for your need, we
Mm-hmm.
would like to provide the connection to help that need be met. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yes.
that is where we are with that. Okay. Um, that's basically who we are. So
All right.
I wanted to get that out first. And I would also ask that from now on, because we are learning on the go, and I would like to say that I am so immensely grateful to the other young lady who's been helping me because
What
we
was the
learned a
name
lot
of
of things
this?
on the go. It was just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We spent I think the first 2 nights we spent all night basically at jails, bailing people out and waiting with them and their families, making sure that the mothers were fed or supported, to help them work through their feelings. And we took on a lot, which might not have been ideal at the time thinking
Right.
back, but we're going to intentionally try to have other people, bring other people into fold to help with that work. Okay.
All right.
So we're asking for about a 24 to 48-hour notification for, if you're holding a protest and you need to be supported, please respect that we need time to find
Uh-huh.
these things. There's not an army of people. We're building an army, but Rome wasn't built in a day. You
All
know what I'm
right.
saying? A lot of this country wasn't built in a day. And I've been saying a lot. This is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. This is not a quick thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's hard work. And right now we're shouldering most of it in order to make it possible to put things in place for other people to carry it on because this has got to stay.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Um, you
I
want me to keep talking or you have
no, no.
questions?
So
Because I've been doing that a lot.
no, I've been letting you. So I like
Mhm,
the fact that you're laying out the plan, and I want to say why.
mhm,
One of the major critiques of this round of protests has been that there's been
mhm,
no stabilizing plan or stabilizing force behind an
mhm,
organization behind the protests that have gone forward. Especially here in
mhm,
Charleston, of course, we see in cities like
mhm,
Minneapolis and places of that nature. It's been much more of an organized effort, at least at the forefront. Of course, we know
mhm,
that the other people got involved, and those people may not be as organized or as
mhm,
invested in the actual um, problem that we're trying to fix as those
mhm,
people. But there's definitely been a much more organized effort. So I like the fact that you're laying out a plan to be
mhm,
able to support the people who are protesting. So with that in mind, just keep
mhm.
cooking. I'll let you know I want you to get through your plan, and then we can talk more about
Okay.
the other stuff.
All right. Okay. Well, in that preparation process, okay, we need people to, when you're going out and planning protests, okay, since we are here to support, we're gonna need details. Okay, so people have got to text us time, date, location, and contact information of the organizers. Because I mean, I don't plan on stop fielding the questions, and I felt really bad about not being able to answer some of those things.
Hmm.
But please allow us that to help you in this work. Okay, we don't want to downplay what you're doing. However, we've since it's been the two of us, we are to say the least exhausted. We're
Mm.
happy, we're just tired.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm doing my best to stay out of like the hospital because we're in the middle of a pandemic. People
Absolutely.
forget that there's a lot of other things going on, and in order to make this work, we've got to preserve our own health and safety of ourselves and our families. And there's a lot to consider into that. So please allow us that. Give us 24 to 48 hours.
Hmm.
Give us those details and what you need. And if we can meet that need, we will send it out to you. Somebody is going to follow up with you. We're trying to get people for that. And if you want to volunteer, we're creating a form because that has become unwieldy. Everybody wants to help, but not everybody knows quite sure what to do. So we're trying to spell those things out so people know what they are and what that looks like and what's going to be involved. Because
Mm.
from past experience, I have found that um, the work can be taxing. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is built for that. And in that case, if somebody else is tired, we need somebody else to step in, and
Right.
that kind of thing is going on. Okay. But
Hmm.
we're trying to formulate something so it stays in unity, because I don't deal in disunity, because
Hmm.
that quite frankly is not productive to the process. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And the ultimate goal is to build a larger statewide fund that South Carolina has. It doesn't have any. You don't know how many national origins. Like, there's nothing to donate to. What do we do? We
Right.
actually have gotten a national, person who is fronting a lot of, resources at this moment, who needs this done in South Carolina.
Yeah.
The work has
Yeah.
got to be done. It's just, somebody's got to be there to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, another critique that I've had, and I really wanted to address, was
Yeah.
the are we bailing out everybody? What about this person that did that? And what about this person that did that? Okay. Now, as a person, I have close friends who I love and continue to have loved on for years. I have one young man. He was in prison. He's in prison for 20 years, but he was arrested at 18. Was not
Mm.
allowed due process. Okay. Another activist that we personally work with, Shango Associate, is still needing of legal services. He's still in jail now. He was on the ground with me, and he still needs legal services. Okay.
Hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because this country has a due process, which is not necessarily a legal process.
Mm.
Cash bail is not normal. In many places, it's not used at all. Okay. So I mean, in the United States and the Philippines, I think they're the only two countries in the world where someone has to put up cash to avoid being in prison before their trial. Okay.
Mm. Okay.
So our work is not in the business of convicting or not for anybody else, but we do need people to know, if you want to donate, we can't give you that immediate answer. So if you have any reticence in doing that, you know, um, kind of work that out in yourself if you want to be involved in that type of work.
Yeah.
Okay. Because white folks, to be frank, are allowed grace of always being innocent until proven guilty. Too
Hmm.
often, our people are guilty until proven innocent. Okay, emotions ran high Saturday. I understand the concern. We don't want to promote that. However, um, who's to say that they didn't do it out of anger and frustration and whatever? I can't judge that. I'm not God. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And we are doing this from a case by case basis. You know what I'm saying? If we can't help that person, but we're determining it by legal advice. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? We're not deciding that. A lawyer is helping us with that. And then lawyers are deciding themselves amongst themselves, is this worth taking on? Okay.
Yes.
We might not need funds because they might donate their time. That family might have the money. We can't be everywhere at all times. So to answer that question, okay, so we stand for wealth justice and abolishment of the cash bail, which is wealth-based discrimination, and used as a vehicle for the criminal justice system that targets low-income populations. Black people, people of color, and immigrants in the Low Country face higher rates of arrest, harsher sentences, and bail inequalities. I saw a man who was a young man who was arrested, right? The first thing these people did was call ICE. He was legal.
Mm.
Okay. So we cannot determine that in the situation. We will try to the best of our ability to meet the needs. However, this is what we're doing. Okay. The work is not going to stop because some people don't like it. So
Yep.
any questions you have for me?
All right. So first of all, very well thought out and contemplated plan. Clearly, there's a lot of one. I think it's important that people realize that there's so much more to activism than just yelling, screaming, and
Yes,
being in these
exactly.
streets. It's so much more to it. So
Exactly.
I'm so glad that you were able to lay out the entire plan, and even your
Mhm,
objective, in doing so. I sort of
mhm.
want to start at the beginning and work my way there, if that's cool with you.
That's fine with me.
I know we're
Mhm,
talking about the Black Liberation Fund, but I want to make sure that people
mhm.
understand why there needed to be a shift from the name Black Lives Matter Charleston to the Black Liberation Fund, if that's okay.
Okay, because people were confusing the purpose.
Yes.
Okay, me and this sister, we just wanted to care and love on folks in their anger because nobody else is doing it.
Uh-huh.
I'm a mother by nature. That's my
Mhm.
nature. I'm always asking everybody around me, "What do you need?" And they're like, "No, stop. What you need?"
Right, right, right.
So too often our community is that, you know what I'm saying? I want to know what my LGBTQ community needs. I
Yes.
need to help them. I want to help everybody who has that need to provide them access to get what they need
Yeah.
because too often I've even been housing insecure in this community. I express a need, nobody knows where to take, direct me to.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We've got to start to close some of these gaps. As far as people being arrested, there is a lot of people could probably recognize when you are arrested, when housing becomes a concern because people don't like to give you housing, right?
Mhm.
People say, "Oh, well, you can't get food stamps." There's a lot of things that comes behind that. And I'm
Mhm.
not sure if young people understand that or the community at large understand that is that sometimes after a person is convicted, they're convicted again, whether they actually are guilty or not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where I am with that. Uh-huh. Did I
All
answer
right.
your question?
You absolutely did. You absolutely did. And because
Okay.
again,
Okay.
and just again, I want to make sure we circle back because I want people to
Hmm.
understand
Hmm.
the protest that happened Saturday. Did you
Hmm.
organize that protest?
No, we did not organize for
Yeah,
Saturday.
this is the stuff I'm
Saturday,
talking.
I
You
myself
see what I'm
started
doing?
off in Colombia.
All right.
I started in Colombia. I wanted to view all these black people coming together. I was like, "Oh yeah, let's go,
Yeah.
let's do it, y'all doing
Yeah.
the thing." And then what we started seeing is that unprovoked, the response that the police was giving, even that peaceful protest
Yeah.
was riot gear.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
got real quick.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
could see how emotions ran so high. And then it down at Charleston that afternoon. It
Mm-hmm.
just got out of hand. And that's what we're hearing from a lot of people. Okay.
Yes.
We hear
Yes.
the stories when they come out. When
Yes.
we're trying to record those because there's a lot of things that are happening to these people that shouldn't have happened.
Mm.
One girl was snatched out of her mother arm while she was in this protest,
Right.
and
Right.
she cuts. Okay, so that's disrespectful, but is that cause to arrest her? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So we're trying to collect all of that so people can be helped in these moments because right now it's a lot. It's a lot of trauma that's going on, and people are going to need self care.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to need things. So that's where this came from for me.
All right.
I did not focus on the Black Lives Matter aspect for a purpose because we did that before. And right now, I just wanted to care and love for these people. I already have people, I've lost people to this.
Yes.
That's where
Yes.
I am with that. I've lost people to this. And
Yes.
I don't care to lose anymore. I mean, that's where I am.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing that. So the Black
Mhm.
Liberation Fund, the key points that I got out of it is to provide support to people who are protesting, whether it be providing
Yes.
resources as far as
Mhm.
goods, milk,
Mhm.
water, even
Mhm.
technical training. My understanding
Mhm.
with how to
Yeah,
protest
we are
effectively.
connecting with other well versed organizers in other places who have had successful protests and also organizations who do that for their living to be
Hmm.
able to provide you with those resources. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Because the devil's in confusion. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You can't go out confused and not know your plan. You
Yeah.
know, this is like a war. Strategy is needed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do that on your own, I mean, you're going to have to accept a risk for that. But right now, we're not prepared to do that with you. Right now, we're trying to care for people. Like a couple of people that were arrested on, I think it was Sunday, the second time we bailed people out. I'm losing days, so
Sunday.
bear with
Uh-huh.
me.
Uh-huh.
But a few of those people, they weren't protesting. One guy got snatched from Walmart. Listen, okay? They weren't protesting. They were black,
Yeah.
but they weren't
Yeah.
protesting.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Listen, so we need to help these people because listen, ain't nobody else doing it. You know what I'm saying? So we just kind of stepped into a role and it just got bigger than us
Mm-hmm.
quickly, very quickly,
Yeah. Yeah.
to say the least. Okay.
All right. I love that.
Mhm.
Okay. And you asked that they give you 24 to 48 hours of prior notice before any protest, just so you can make sure you have resources in place to help.
Okay. With that, we would love that. Um, and that allows us to help you. I mean, if you do it sooner, we're not going to be telling people what to do, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because we don't have the capacity for that. You know what I'm saying? It's just that when something happens, it's going to take a lot longer to respond.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know a couple of people are concerned about, well, people are arrested now. What you doing? What you doing? But the thing about it is that we did this for 2 days.
Right.
And I need people to understand, like while we were on the ground the first night, okay, they started out at $480 per
Mm-hmm.
person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we moved so quickly that we were able to liberate, I think, anywhere from 8 to 10 people. We're
Yeah.
still in the process of collecting that data. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the next day, now, it wasn't even 24 hours later, that went to $1,393 per person.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
went from paying for one person to 3 people using the funds that you guys have been raising. So again, I thank you for
Mm-hmm.
allowing us that. And I think we did like maybe 6 or 7 people. We went and did that process with them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we're collecting their stories and stuff like that. But the thing about it is that every time we accomplish something, the city is raising the bar, and we're
Right.
trying
Yes.
to meet it, and we're
Yes.
trying to strategize to meet it. So it's not we're not ignoring the people that are there now. It's just that when it went from okay, because because I have the blessing. I think we have a good understanding with Abraham Jenkins' family.
Okay.
So I want to speak about that specifically.
Good.
We paid the initial bond, the $1,393, and we waited and we waited, and then they said, I think the person who was taking him home, they told them they can't get out tonight. There's additional stuff or charges. We're keeping him.
Mm.
Okay, is what ended up happening. So with that, we've been with them going to court the last couple of days because this thing has grown. I don't know if you saw the graphic, but he has I'm gonna just round it up. It's $280,000 to now bail.
Wow. Hold
Two
on.
hundred and eighty thousand dollars.
So we so we have viewers from all over the country. So I want to make
Mhm.
sure that people understand this total situation. So this
Mhm.
gentleman, Abraham
Mhm.
Jenkins, was locked up when?
Mhm. He was locked up. A protest that we amplified because those demands and things came out of that protest. He was one of the lead organizers for that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we're sticking so close to him. Is because we promised that group of people. I think there's like 100 people in this group that was moving at the time. You know what I'm saying? So we basically promised him or agreed to help, support and amplify. We
Mm,
gave them the tips and tricks to do everything. We gave them the platform and things like that. Okay.
mm-hmm,
Now, Abraham, AJ worked with me before back in the
mm-hmm,
day in old BLM. So, the loyalty for me it was already there. But the fact that that day was a peaceful protest. In all sense of the word, that protest went successfully. Nothing was damaged. But
mm-hmm.
what ended up happening was I got a call and it was like 6 people are arrested. And I'm like, what? How? This is what they did. They targeted this young man. Is from the details that I got. They targeted him. They grabbed him first.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started snatching other people as they went, and that's even how that happened. I'm
Okay.
trying to get more details on that, and we hope to memorialize him and his family's stories in that. But what, and I need people to be aware that these videos that you're sharing and these pictures that you have, they're being used against you in a
Yeah.
court of
Yeah.
law that hasn't happened yet.
Mm.
So that has happened to him. And I don't consider that necessarily legal, but that's the reality that we're facing now. Those charges that he's staying in there for were not his original charges.
Okay.
However, we're here now and we're trying to meet this new bar that they've given us to get him home safely to his family, because he led that. He led that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it was successful. There was nothing damaged. You know what I'm saying? So their initial pickup with him was not in a damaging situation.
Right.
So what they did was take videos and things like this and went back and charged him for things that
From
they found while he
that
was
would.
in jail. Yeah.
So was he at the previous night's protest or something, and they found video of him there,
I think
or
he was there with his family.
yeah?
And then that's how that went. We're still getting details, and I don't want to get too technical on
No,
that
of course,
because it's
no, of
still
course,
it's still pending. But
yeah.
the fact is that he led that, and when he got arrested, he was, you know what I'm saying. I can't speak to the charges
Yeah,
because we're having lawyers look at that.
yeah.
But
But you are helping him. The Black Liberation Fund is helping him.
yes, we're helping him. And the thing about it is, if this had went a normal way, that when we paid that initial fee, he
He
should
would have
have
been
been
home.
let out,
Yeah.
and then they should have went through their process to do this correctly. And I don't feel
Okay.
like that was done correctly.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Mhm.
let me ask you some questions because you are,
Mhm.
heavily involved in the protesting game, if you will. It's not a game, but
Mhm.
you know what I mean. You're in
Mhm.
the field. Um,
Yeah.
and we all know people always talk about the civil rights movement of the 1960s, 1950s, 1960s, and the differences
Mhm.
between now and then. From your standpoint, I
Mhm.
want to ask you a couple questions, and I just want to get your take on it. One, what is the greatest strength of this generation's protesters opposed to the protesters of the 1960s and 70s, 1950s and 60s? Greatest strength.
Um, I think the greatest strength is also a hindrance. So I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
But it's their they don't have the fear that has once, I think, lied in some people doing some things.
Okay.
We're so integrated to a point now, is that right now that anger has kind of evolved a little bit
Yeah.
into more, I guess, complex forms of protest,
Hmm.
and they're smarter in some ways, but not in other ways, because what they're lacking is grassroots leadership. I
Yeah.
don't see that they've been led
Hmm.
to know what is right and wrong. See, and people are saying, well, that's wrong, but who told them not to? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I asked, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? And people were slow to answer. So the community needs to have that discussion. I can't,
Mm.
because I've had enough trauma around all of that.
Yes.
So, and that's not my role anymore. But that's my answer to that.
I love that. And you actually answered my
Mhm.
second half of the question, which is the greatest
Okay.
weakness, and that would be
Mhm.
leadership. And I would definitely, just
Mhm.
from my standpoint, I'm not a protester. I've attended protests, but I don't consider myself a protester. I don't consider myself an
Mhm.
activist, though I'm in the community.
Mhm.
I'm in these streets. People know me, but I don't consider myself to be an activist of your ilk, because I know what it takes to do what you guys do. It's a different
Mhm.
kind of thing. I run a nonprofit organization that does
Mhm.
totally different stuff. So I completely understand, and I want to build the understanding of people who do not do what you guys
Mhm.
do, that it's not as
Mhm.
simple as, okay, hey guys, we see something wrong, let's get some signs and walk out in the street and sing we shall overcome.
Thank you.
It's not that simple. It's not, and it's also not as simple as let's go downtown and pick up a trash can and
Mhm.
throw it into a window. um
Mhm.
I also want to ask you this question. There's been
Mhm.
allegations to, to the tune of the fact that it may have been outside agitators that have accelerated the things that went on downtown Charleston. And throughout the country. Do you agree that there may have been that distinction taking place?
Okay, I there may there may have been,
Hmm.
but what I have experienced, and I'm going to share this experience with you because it needs to be talked about, is that um,
Yes.
in the community, I've been blamed for being an outside agitator. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And I am
All
not an
right.
outside agitator. We need to be
Hmm.
careful with that because there probably is, but we don't have time for the infighting to kind of find out where that is right now.
Hmm.
That's going to reveal itself, I feel like, especially with this first case that we're helping. I think that's going to be revealed. What I can offer people is be careful
Uh-huh.
because I hate to say it and I don't want to say it, but people's safeties and livelihoods are being threatened in
Okay.
this. I experienced that first time around, and I'm experiencing that again, but not necessarily from the same actors. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? So
Yes.
I want to make people aware that there could be, but how dare you to blame and threaten the
Hmm.
safety of other people
Yes.
without checking these facts. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I personally have been out of activism since Mohidan died because you know what? I still don't have the answers I need on that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I it took a lot of to for me to even step out to the protest on Saturday.
Yes.
Like it took a lot for me to step up into this. And I also want to address the fact that I am grateful that people think that I am a leader, but I didn't plan this at all.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yes.
didn't
Yes.
plan this at all. I am just meeting a need. So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's right.
I love that. Yeah, I want to make sure
Hmm.
that that was pointed out as well.
Hmm.
I also want to
Yes.
make sure that that was pointed out that
Hmm.
that yes, you did not plan that.
Hmm.
And so I want to talk because you mentioned it, and you know I don't like going any place that anybody doesn't want to go, but you mentioned it, so I want to make sure
Hmm.
I ask the question. When you say that
Yes.
you've experienced trauma due to what's happened with the protest, could you speak to that some?
Mhm. Okay. Um, well, first of all, like I said, it took me a lot to go back out there because
Hmm.
there's always that fear and of not only that outside but folks from inside
Yep.
because I was not liked in the first iteration
Uh-huh.
because I'm gonna just put it out there since we're here now.
We here now.
I'm queer. I'm queer, right? And
Hmm.
people didn't like that. They didn't want to deal with me. So
Mm.
Mahidan and Shango, they helped me navigate a lot of that, and they protected me in a
All
lot of
right.
that.
Hmm.
But let me ask you, where are they? They're not here. So
Right.
I
Right.
had to go, and do by myself.
Yes.
And the people that have been the most supportive has been Black women, and
Okay.
I'm gonna just be honest about that.
Yes.
Now, I've gotten the most vitriol from people who aren't Black women. I'm not gonna
Okay.
say it exactly, but that's
Yeah.
where I am with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for
Hmm.
sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. So
Hmm.
being in the LGBTQ plus community, that's
Hmm.
that's right.
Yes,
Being in
yes.
the
Hmm.
LGBTQ plus community, how has that uniquely shaped your experience in the Black activism climate?
It's people have to gain trust from me in this community because there's that we haven't been able to have time to fight that fight yet. I feel
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
so it's that's difficult. That's always difficult, but I'm here now. So
Hmm.
let's work on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
now. Let's work on it because I'm committed to doing the work. And nobody ever likes everything that you do. You just
Right.
have to. I'm trying to. I'm trying to process a lot of this, and that's why I'm also asking people grace for certain things because that's a lot. It's a lot,
Mm.
and that's. I don't know if that answers your question,
It
but
does.
that's
It
kind of
does.
where I am with that. So.
It does. Do you
Mhm.
think? Do you
Mhm.
think that? Do you think that the fact that the African American community often operates from a patriarchal standpoint hinders us in terms of our liberation?
Why you want to ask me that question?
Because this is a talk show.
Okay, I'm trying not to make people mad, but yes.
No, and this hold on, I
Yes.
want to pause right there. I want to pause right there.
Yeah.
So listen,
Okay. Okay.
Real
All
Talk
right.
with
Okay.
Rajan is really real
Okay.
conversations.
Okay.
Real,
Okay. Okay.
like you heard the intro. Welcome to Real Talk with Rajan, where nothing's off limits. You could have been anywhere in
Yes.
the world, but you're here
Yes.
with me, and I appreciate that.
Yes.
My show
I've
is literally
experienced. Yes.
yes,
I've
yes.
experienced a lot of paternalistic behaviors,
Okay.
whether they are knowing they're doing it or
Hmm.
not. Um, I am the one of the two people who was beginning to do this. I'm a little bit better at navigating that
Hmm.
because, to truth be told, most of the activists that I worked with before were men. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. Sometimes those egos have to be stroked.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have to get to a level of comfortability with certain things
Okay.
before they move forward. But to answer the question, there's a certain level of paternalism that's going on. I'm
Hmm.
just trying to best to navigate that. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And
Hmm.
that's you ain't made nobody
Hmm.
mad. If somebody's mad at that, inbox me. We'll deal with that. Inbox me.
Okay.
But yeah,
All
but
right.
seriously, but seriously, like
Mhm.
that, I think it needs to be said because it's really hard to say that we're fighting for the liberation of people and that that
Mhm.
we're provoking to cause this effective change, but we want to limit the
Mhm.
change at men. I work with the organization, my organization,
Mhm.
Low Country Youth Services. We work with young men, but that's our mission.
Mhm.
That's our mission statement.
Mhm.
But we also are
Mhm.
definitely down to support a female organization or organization that supports women and female empowerment. I think but
Mhm.
when you're talking about something as global and as large of an idea as Black liberation, you can't just talk about just black straight men. You can't. You can't.
Yes.
You have to
Yes.
consider. You have to consider
Yes.
women. You have to consider the LGBTQ
Mhm.
community. You have to consider.
Mhm.
You have to consider the Hispanic community. You have to consider all these
Mhm.
other oppressed peoples
Mhm.
that are
Mhm.
also facing these same problems. So I want to make sure that I stated that, even if you don't want to,
Mhm.
just because it's important that it's said. You know,
Yes.
I just want to make sure that it was said. That's all I want to say right
Mhm.
there. Um,
And thank you for that because I have been impressed with the way certain Black men have stepped up when I've asked.
yeah,
And I'm getting to that point where I am getting to the point where I'm asking now. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? If you
yeah,
want to meet that need, I'm gonna ask. And all I could do is wait for an answer. You
yeah.
know, the world's not gonna end if you don't want to do it. It's just
Right.
that I have to move to the next person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
I think I had a question and I just forgot it.
Yes.
But that's all
No.
right. Um, if people want to support the Black Liberation Fund, how do they support you?
Okay. So we have set up a PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. And that was kind of through that first iteration of the first couple of days. But it's CHS Rebellion 2020. And that can also be found on the page. Formerly Black Lives Matter Charleston is now labeled Black Liberation Fund on Facebook.
Okay.
We're working with a social media person to get this more effectively out there. But you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're working on a website. Okay. We're trying to expand our reach. But again, this is a grassroots thing. And, speaking of who I am, um, I have a job, but I I've had to take a lot of time off for this.
Yeah.
So we're doing the best we can, and I just want people to know that I love you,
Yeah.
but it just might not come right this minute.
Right.
So
Right.
it's gonna come. We're gonna try to find you the answer. It's just that sometimes we have to prioritize a little bit in order to have this structure so other
Hmm.
people can help you, even if I can't, because not
Yes.
I don't always have the capacity. So yeah. Hmm.
Okay. And if they want to follow you on social media, how can they find you? If you want
Okay.
them to. If
I'm
not, then
working on
we're not
that.
gonna.
I am Latisha Imara. Hi. And I'm working on that also. Right now I'm just Facebook Latisha Imara. Okay, I'm trying to open that back up because I had a scare so bad that I had to close everything off and I had to like hide out for a minute. Okay. But now that
Understandable.
we're here, and now that so many people have said, well, Tisha, you're doing great work.
Hmm.
I'm willing to
You are.
kind of open that back up again and work on that. But right now I'm Latisha Imara, if you want to friend me on Facebook,
Hmm.
and I'm working on the rest of that piece. So yeah.
Okay. All right. All
Mhm.
right. Any parting thoughts before we close?
I want to say, even for the people that aren't too happy right now, I love you. I'm here to help you. Let's see if we could come to an agreement. And I need y'all to share this message, because I think a lot of communication or miscommunication has come from, um, I had a fear about being public.
Mm,
And that just stems from me, being active before.
yes.
I haven't had that, I guess you could say, that comfortable feeling. I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Now I'm learning to get comfortable, because I've learned, a very wise person told me, is that and Moya hated being a leader too. Don't get me wrong. He was like, how can you lead something that's not leadable? He would have these really large thoughts. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in answer response to that, I didn't choose to be a leader, but now I am. And
Mm,
people are affirming me in that way. And I'm trying to affirm myself in that
absolutely.
way. So please just bear with me. I'm a work in progress.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining me.
You're
I
quite
wanna
welcome.
I wanna encourage your strength in this,
Mhm.
because I know that this is not an easy fight. Um,
No.
you're not, but I will also encourage you to know that you're not fighting alone. I encourage every black woman that is leading
Mhm,
this charge for,
mhm,
whether it be Black Lives Matter or just Black
mhm,
liberation or anything,
mhm,
to fight against oppressive forces in our nation and in the world. I just want to tell you
mhm,
thank you. We don't tell you
mhm,
thank you enough.
mhm,
Even if you go back to the civil
mhm,
rights movement, we know Dr. King, but there's so many women such as Fannie Lou Hamer that really paved the way
mhm.
to
Yes.
make this thing a possibility. So
Mhm,
shout out to every
mhm,
woman that's been involved. Thank you to every person in the LGBTQ plus community who's
mhm,
been involved. Thank you to every non-black person who's been involved. Those some
mhm.
non-black people who are involved, I don't think you're very helpful,
Yes,
but that's
we've
another
had
issue
a
for another
lot
day.
of ally support. We're trying to organize on that front. We've
Yeah.
had a lot of ally support, and for those allies who are watching, thank you, because we still need you.
Yeah.
It's just that we're trying to navigate what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
please continue to support. Your support is needed. Your
Yes.
support is being used, and everybody else, non-black, white, everybody, just people have shown up in a way that I've never seen in
Yes.
Charleston before.
Yes.
So I need to
Absolutely.
thank Charleston, the city as a whole.
That's my
Okay,
city,
so
yo.
y'all
That's
are
my city.
showing up. You're doing your jobs. Thank you.
That's my city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Our
Also,
city.
I just want to add caveat to my
Mhm,
non-black people who want to join
mhm.
black causes.
Yeah.
Join black
Mhm.
causes. We don't need y'all leading black causes. We got
Yeah,
you.
we have leadership. We're establishing that leadership.
We're actually good
We're
there.
establishing that leadership. We're going to give you directives. Just give us a
You
minute to give our
come
banners, okay?
get involved, become a part of it. But
We're trying to navigate what that looks like, but
you're not the
we,
face.
yes,
We don't we're good.
we're leaning on training our community and
Yes.
how to respond to this, and we do need your help.
Help.
But yes, but we are trying to figure out the best way that looks like. That's
Yeah.
best for us and you too. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Absolutely.
Everybody know that there's risk involved.
Yep.
And one thing I want to say to young people before we get off of here,
Cool.
I need everybody who has footage, please save that to a hard drive or a SIM card or something like that, and take it
Mm-hmm.
off social media, and
Mm.
stop taking pictures and videos of yourself at these protests. Because I can say for a fact, I know for a fact, these things can and will be used against you in a court of their law. Because I
Yep.
don't think it's necessarily our law anymore. Okay. So please help guide these young people and these folks. I mean, older people, I need y'all. I really need y'all. I really need y'all, because these young people need y'all. They
Yeah.
want to do,
Yeah.
but you know what? They they don't. I mean, the leadership we have is great, but we need more.
Yeah.
So, because I
Absolutely.
don't want to diminish anybody doing anything. Now, y'all are doing a great job. Those who are doing, it's just that we need more. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
if you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
Mhm.
And I thank you again for joining me, man. Like this has been a great
Okay.
discussion. And if when you get
Mhm.
down the road, you want to come back and
Mhm.
talk a little bit more about what's going on, please know that
Yes.
the doors of Real Talk with Rajan is always open. This is what we do here. We have
Okay.
we have we have important discussions in a fun way, and we
Yeah.
don't shy away from topics just because they're difficult to talk about. So I want to thank you again
Mhm.
for your energy. Thank you for your time. I want
Thank
to
you.
again encourage you to just keep going and know that we are
Mhm.
with you whether you see us or not. And I love you and nothing
Thank
you can
you.
do about it. That's how we do things. All right. With
Baby,
that
I
being
love you too.
right
I'm
back.
learning
All
to
right.
say it.
All right. I'm gonna close. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right, all right, all right. And thank y'all, man. Thank you for watching this week. Once again, if
Mhm.
you tuned in to watch G, Jordan, he had a previous engagement that came up out of that he didn't, it was unexpected, so he was not able to be here tonight, but he is definitely we're going to get that interview scheduled. We're going to get him on, I promise. I just don't know when right now, but as soon as I know, the post is going up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to watch this show. Remember that the local celebrity spotlight is now every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. and sometimes clearly it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays too, where I interview my local celebrity spotlights and unsung heroes. Just another disclaimer: we are now beyond just local celebrity spotlights. I don't care where you live. If you want to shine your light on somebody in your community who's doing something great, somebody who started their own business, their own nonprofit, they have their dance team, they're activists, they do protests, whatever it is that they're doing that they want a light shined on, reach out to me. My website, www.realtalkwithrajan.com. I'd love to schedule to get them on. This and all my shows, in addition to the Car Chronicles series, is now available for your listening pleasure via Apple, Google, Spotify, and any place you can find podcasts. You can also find it on my website, www.realtalkwithrajan.com. If you'd like to be made aware of when I go live, because sometimes it is unscheduled, please be sure to click the follow or subscribe tab and turn on the notifications so that you will know when something new is posted to the page. In the meantime, please follow me on social media to stay up to date on what's happening with Real Talk. Everywhere, I am Real Talk Rajan. That's REZSAUN. And if you are on YouTube, which everybody's on YouTube, please follow me on YouTube. If y'all think this video was dope, you think this interview was dope, I have 120 something other ones that you will also think are equally dope. Um, Feel free to leave comments, questions, whatever else you like to say in the comment section or the message section. I love reading your messages and getting your feedback, even if it's negative. I would also appreciate it if you could leave a 5-star rating or a review on my Facebook or YouTube channel. Please leave comments. Comments matter. That's engagement. I am currently accepting speaking engagements and event hosting opportunities. If you'd like for me to speak at or host your event, you can request me via my website. That's www.realtalkwithrajan.com. In closing, always remember that if a man doesn't stand for something, go back. Go back. In closing, always remember that God is everything, and without him, we are nothing, so never forget where your help comes from. And if a man doesn't stand for something, he's bound to fall for anything. Get down, Charleston. Get down, nation. Get down, world. That's Real Talk. See y'all next week. Peace.